Attila is a simple game of abstract strategy published by Blue Orange. It comes in a nice tin. It reminds me of Nia, another abstract game by Blue Orange that I played in the past, which also comes in a similar box and is very small and economic like this one. Here you have 4 terrain tiles that you use to build a board. You can build a board in a variety of different ways. This is the recommended setup and configuration for beginners players. And then each player has 3 knights. Here we go. I mean, the quality of the components is really high. You do not have many components, but they look absolutely great. So Romans versus Barbarians. And this is how the game works. When it is your turn, you need to do 2 things. You must do 2 things. One, you choose one of your knights and you move it like you would move it in chess. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. So you perform the L-shaped maneuver that you have in chess. Super simple. After that, after you have moved, you take one of these scorched earth markers, tradition associated with Attila, so it makes sense, and you place it anywhere on the board. Suppose I want to put it there. Then my opponent does the same, moves one of their knights, 1, 2, 3, and places a marker somewhere. And so on and so forth. It is super simple. As you can see, this is it. This is the game. These are pretty much all of the rules. So all that you still need to know is victory conditions, which is when a player cannot move any of their knights, the game is over. You can move through knights of your own side, of the opponent, and through obstacles. You simply cannot land on any occupy space. And occupied space are pretty much everything. Friends, enemies, and scorched earth, that is all occupied. So there will be a time, as you can see, where the board is still cluttered. As you can see, actually, once scorched earth markers start raining on the board does start looking claustrophobic pretty soon, pretty early. And as soon as a player cannot move one of their knights, there are no legal moves for one of the 2 sides. That side, the side that should move but cannot, loses the game, and the other side wins the game. So a filler game, possibly, probably, definitely not the main course in a game night, but not a bad filler at all, and definitely a filler that does require some thinking. I'm not a great chess player, just figuring out how to perform the move of the knight to me is hard enough. So it's very basic. It's very basic. You can teach it in 30 seconds. But it does require some thinking. It does require taking into account what the opponent may do and what you may do in response to this and that. The complexity and the options don't get to the point that this will result in analysis paralysis. If it does, you're playing with some player that really has some serious problems with analysis paralysis. I would say that's almost like should not go unmedicated, because you need to consider all the options, but it's not that many. And but they're interesting options, and very often you will think that you have created the master move that will lock the opponent out of possibilities and will secure a victory for you, only to realize that that's not the case, and the opponent moves a single piece, and now you have lost the game just when you thought that you were about to win it. Because that's kind of one of the aspects of the game. It's mutual blockage. So in any case, as the game progresses, the board will become smaller and smaller in terms of options that are available, which means that both players will have problems maneuvering. It is about being able to outmaneuver the opponent in the shrinking range of options. I definitely like the fact that the board can be redesigned, organized in different ways from game to game, so you can experiment with some really weird configuration. And if you do so, if you have like an L-shaped or a snake-shaped, you're allowed to kind of like go outside of the board to jump through hypothetical squares. You still have to land on a free square on the board. So there is that little other aspect there, that fact that you can customize the game a little bit, you can experiment with different setups. The one that I showed you was just one of the recommended setups. So a filler, a simple game that plays in 5 minutes. You can play it with young gamers, with young children, as long as they don't even need to know how to play chess. They know how to perform, they just need to know how to perform that one move. And maybe this will be a good training for them as future chess players. A game just about the move of the knight. Then there will be another game just about the rooks, and another game about the king, and so on and so forth. But you can play it with young gamers. The idea of movement of that kind is known to everybody, not just to gamers. So you can play it with a large number of different people, and while not say a blast, this is definitely an entertaining, smart, small game. Could be a filler, could be a good travel game, could be a children game. In any case, it is a little light, smart filler that I'm happy that I played, and that probably I will be able to play at some point in the future. I'll be able to sneak in more games in the future, maybe between larger games. Maybe, you know, before or after a large war game with an ancient theme. Then we just jump around and score some earth here and there and have fun playing Attila.